Hey there, it's Friday, so let's get some designing done. This week's DIY bucket had lots of springy neutrals in it. We are inspired kind of by the colors of an artichoke, and we're using, for some cool texture, today we're using our Haven pot, which we sell in the store, and it is one of the pieces that we use for our seasonal items. You can also use it for a plant. This is the 7-inch high one, or it's like 6.5-inch high. It has a slightly smaller opening, so we're going to use a regular piece of chicken wire that we would normally use for a 6-inch opening. We're going to roll it the same way that we do, with the cut edges in, and then we're going to roll it over itself into a ball. Just kind of scrunch it up, scrunch it. So you have this, and then we're just going to stick it in our container. Easy peasy. There we go. So for this one, we have some pretty large hydrangea too, so we don't really have to worry about the chicken wire holding everything, because the hydrangea will also help to grid it. So I'm just sticking it down in there so it's something for me to put the stems into, so that I don't have to tie the hydrangea at the base. So we're going to start with our hydrangea. This happens to be the Antique Hydrangea, and it's this nice light color with the lavender on it. So we're going to start by trimming that. You can see here, taking off all these little nubs, and we're going to go right into our chicken wire, slightly off center to cover the top of this container. Do it again, take off the little nubs on the side and go right in. Easy peasy. Right, and then once you're all covered, we're going to go in with some of this lemon leaf that's in the bucket. This is kind of a green that we use a lot here as a foundational green, just to help build a grid for all of the flowers to go into. So I'm going to poke that in between and through the hydrangea. Just a couple of pieces. You don't have to use all of the pieces that are in the bucket. There should be about 6 or 7 just yet, because I like to hang on to a couple till the end, so that if you feel like you need a little bit more, you can. So start off sparingly. And we're putting them in at an angle underneath the hydrangea, so that it's getting into the chicken wire, but it's also starting to form a nest underneath our arrangement. Next, we have these really cool, speaking of artichokes, these really cool leucadendron. So I'm going to add these in early. We're just going to strip these greens off the bottom, measure to our base, trim at an angle, and go right in. Now, for this week's arrangement, I'm going with a little bit of texture, but not super wild. So I'm gonna have these sticking out a little bit from the hydrangea, but not like crazy sticking out. So this will be a generally all around arrangement, but it won't be moundy. Okay, so I'm gonna do that in a triangle so you can see them all the way around your arrangement. Then we have these really awesome Astrantia that we got in. There's perfect plummy color. So these you can separate into a couple of smaller pieces. You just need to make sure that these things hit the water, because they will wilt really quickly if they don't. So you can cut this piece off the side and use 2 pieces, or you could cut it here and use 1 smaller piece and 1 longer piece, depending on how you want to put them in your arrangement. Trim off any greens that are going to go underneath. So you have a nice clean stem. I'm going to go into the hydrangea, and we're just going to let these float above the hydrangea. So for this, I'm going to squeeze the lateral stems together, trim at an angle, and place it into my arrangement. And then once it's in there, I can spread them out a little bit. Unfortunately, with the Astrantia, as you'll see, these laterals are not long enough to use in the arrangement to hit the water. So you're going to have to use this whole top as one placement. And then you have this other side piece that you can use as a placement as well. I'm going to put those all the way through. There should be 3 in your bucket, so it has a lot of pieces coming off. So I'm going to try to use all of that and get the most bang for your buck here. Put this guy in the middle here. Just making sure that it gets to the hydrangea. You don't have to worry, or I'm sorry, through the hydrangea to the chicken wire. You don't have to worry about it going all the way to the bottom of your container. There we go. All right, and then we have these really lovely Quicksand roses. I know we use those a lot here, but they just open up so nice and they have the nicest fragrance. And these happen to be the prettiest soft color. They have a little bit of difference in color when we get them in. So you can see I'm going to give them a little blow in the middle. You can give them a little roll if you want to get them a little bit more open. And trim and place. Put that in so they float on top of the hydrangea. You should have 4 of these. So I'm gonna go to that, and then again give it a little curve. Swirl. Oops. And then we're gonna place it in the arrangement. And below, take off any of the leaves, trim it, roll it, and place it. It's easier to roll them when the stems are a little bit shorter, so it might be easier to trim it first and then place it in the arrangement. And then the last one, I'm gonna go ahead and put that one in the middle. This guy's kind of floating around that one central placement. Okay. Then we have these awesome Barista roses. Again, playing with those neutrals. It's kind of mauve-y neutral tone. These don't open up quite as large as the Quicksands do, but they will open a little bit, so you can get them rolling just by giving them a little blow in the center and a little roll just to get them moving, and they will continue to open. I'm gonna tuck those in between in a triangular formation in between my 3 Quicksand roses. With the help of the chicken wire, you can let them stick out a little bit. And the stem's nice and clean. I have 3 of those. And then we have 3 of these awesome hot Xpression roses. They open up great. You don't have to really do much of a blow on them or roll them or anything. Just take the outside petals off, and then you can just get those into your arrangement, and they will continue to open. So leave them some room. They'll get nice and big. They're already kind of nice and big. Don't over pluck your petals either. Really just like 2 off the outside is really all you need to take off. Unless there's a damaged one, but otherwise, I'm just gonna nest them with the Barista rose. Whoops, geez, kind of sticking out from there. If they have any nice greens on the stems, you can also use those. Oops. Okay, so there's like kind of like these 3 punches of color around our arrangement. Then we have these awesome purple Ranunculus. You can also give those a little blow. You don't need to roll them or anything. They'll continue to open as well, and tuck those in between. But I'm going to also make sure that they're still kind of floating, because we want to give them plenty of space to open. And plus they have nice clean stems, so you want to use those so you can see that. You don't smush them all the way down into the vase. There. Okay, you should have 3 of those. Okay, let them float, and then you should have 3 of these awesome Scabiosa in sort of that same color palette. Make sure I'm not. These also have a nice long stem. You'll see they have these little sleeves on them. You can leave them on if you're tucking them down into the arrangement so that you don't see it, but if you're gonna have them sticking out of your arrangement, you're gonna wanna take them off. The straws do come with like a split on the side, so you can open it slightly to pull that off of the stem. You can do those in and out, so some of them kind of pop out of the arrangement, some of them can be nestled in slightly. You just want to make sure as you're turning your arrangement that you're seeing them all. Okay, then you're just going to adjust as you go so that everybody's kind of coming out to the same level. They have these great texture of the Scabiosa pods. I love it when they come in and they're nice and big and fresh, and you can see all that pretty green color. So these, again, you can have those popping out of your arrangement a little bit just to give it some fun and some texture, or you can tuck them down in there so that you see that texture from the top. It's always nice also. So let's maybe place one of these down in this way. Don't want to hide our safari, or not safari, our leucadendron. Do those, and we'll do one of these. So is that a little too close to each other? I'll put this one over here. There we go. And then we have this nice bright green sword fern. So the sword fern is great because you just want to measure out how much you want to see. That color is awesome. And then you just strip the leaves off the bottom. So you have a nice clean stem going into your arrangement. And these guys can really break out, give some movement to your arrangement. Or if you're not digging the spikiness of them, you can certainly tuck them in a little bit more. I'm gonna let them stick out a little bit. Because the vase is so tall, it can really have a slightly larger arrangement in it. The proportion works to do it a little bit larger, so we'll have these guys sticking out and giving it a little bit more movement, making sure none of our flowers fall in. Use that chicken wire to your advantage to hold the stem, but also to pop it up a little bit so that it's not falling down into your vase. There we go. And you should have 6 of these in your bucket. And if you don't, it's my fault because I packed the buckets this week and I might have missed one, so I apologize. Okay, tuck this guy down in here. Let that guy pop up. I'm gonna use this extra piece of sorrel that I have in my bucket to just fill in between. And kind of clear this junk out of here so you can see it. Turn it, spin it, make your adjustments, make sure nobody's covering anybody. So if you got a flower directly in front of another one, move it, let everybody have their space. There we go. And there you have it for this week. If you guys enjoyed designing along with us, if you have any questions about how to keep your arrangement or different ways to design the flowers, please ask us in the comments. Like our video and subscribe for more floral content. We will be here every week doing these DIY buckets, but also hopefully we'll have some more informative videos and design videos to share as well. So especially if you like doing your own arranging or DIY florals, you want to give us a follow. All right, well, thanks so much. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll catch you next Friday.